If you look anywhere online, people are just kind of hating everything. That's the meta right now. The meta is to be a hater. If you are a hater, people are like, damn, this guy's so real. I prefer this authenticity, because they think hating is being authentic, which is not true. Actually, I think being a contrarian does not make you honest. I think being a contrarian makes you a contrarian.
Welcome to second episode of Fact Checking the Clown. My name is not Braxophone, you can call me Ryusuke. Do consider like and sub. We're gonna go over his effortless video where he will just spit out dishonest opinion and more often than not just straight up lying. Maybe lying is not a good word cause lying has some levels of self-awareness. It's actually getting lost in his delusional thought process. Even isekai protagonist in Narnia with the interstellar timeline wouldn't be able to figure out his thought process. Well, actually, I do know why, cause I watch a lot of anime, and Steingate isn't one of them, because he just want every single gacha game other than Wuthering Wave to fail so bad, because he's a man-child who takes the personal choice of the game as some kind of status symbol, and this is not just limited to the wuwa. If you think playing any game, including the Arknight Endfield, somehow makes you more superior than other people, you are a loser who got the superior complex. This is just a game, a hobby. Don't treat it like a cult and play what you like. You're not any better or smarter when you pick one game over the other game. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm not gonna go over his recent personal drama with like Mr. Pokey and Captain Cabinet. I'm just gonna talk about the game in this video. I'm gonna cover that in the other video. And you know what? The more he get mad over the Arknight Endfield, the Endless Zone Zero, the better these games are doing. Because he's the types of content creator who only chase for number. And the game with good number are generally eating well. Does he continuously cover about the Stellar Sora? No. Is he covering about the Assyria restart? No. In fact, the more he talks shit about the game, the better that game is doing. It is by any means not a bad sign. It only means that the game is in the healthy state. And that's why he's farming it. Now let's go to the first one. Toxic positivities worse than Hoyoverse.
I don't understand why I see so much negativity towards this post. Maybe because you've been one of the forefront individuals who has fervently defended this game since launch by saying and making videos like the data is in, Arknight's Endfield is the most free-to-play friendly.
Huh?
When it actually has the worst gacha system out of the big five.
Huh?
I think everyone now understands. Now that we're on Yvonne's banner, it is indisputable. This is the worst gacha system the space has ever seen in like the last 4 or 5 fucking years.
It is indisputable that there's a donkey kicks you in the head every night. So that's why your thought process jumping from one dimension to another. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? I can never dream of getting a 1 guarantee pool in 1.0. But in Arknight Endfield, we got 240 in 1.0. And if we account for other kinds of event, it is 300 pools. And that is more than 2 guarantee. Their in-game content ain't even hard. So tell me, why is this not free to play? While Wuwa and any other MiHoYo game, it is significantly harder to clear the in-game content without the 1.0 limited. We even got the solo Estella clear, which is one of the worst units in the entire game, and you say this is not free to play enough. If Arknight Endfield isn't free to play, then Wuwa and any other gacha game are the human harvesting machine as a battery, like the one in the Matrix. In fact, I got Levitain and Gilberta in 150 pools, and now I got 90 pools sitting in my account. That's a total of 240 pools, an equivalent of 2 guarantee in 1.0. And I haven't explored the Wulin yet. You gotta be out of your fucking mind or unbelievably dishonest to even make this claim. and you're not gonna react to this part of the video because you're looking at fact, logic, and the elementary math like a John Cena, you see nothing and expect to keep getting away with all the false claim. And why is this has to do with Rene? He's just making a guide to prove a point, and you frame it as some kinds of toxic positivities? Well, actually I know why. Because you're trying to recreate the success of Tectone when he's doing this toxic positivities bullshit, but Rene haven't made any video respond to you for a while, so you go over his old video a month ago. And yeah, this is for you, dumb tontas. I am disgusted by your lack of creativities, trying to copy Tectone. And speaking of Tectone, he recently got ratio so bad that his pussy got destroyed harder than her entire career. Moving on to next one, Hypergriff mess up, Endfield got hacked, Fob Master, Endfield ruined me. He doesn't say that. If you look at the original post, he said, never use pool tracker site for gacha game again. For those who are not familiar with the gacha tracker, you basically got information on how your pools are going by copy-pasting the command into your computer. And who knows what it's gonna run unless you're a coder yourself. And this one is specifically for a website called the EndField record. And this is the post about whether your computer is under compromise or not. I will just put it up here in case if you need it. However, we also got the other pool website like the Endfield tracker. Obviously, they are not responsible for this hack, but personally, I wouldn't want to risk it. It is up to them to explain themselves. Cause I do use pool tracker for Honkai Star Rail, Genshin, and the Zenless Zone Zero, but I've never had any issue with those. So I kind of dig into it briefly. It seems like when you input the code that they've given you, you will be feeding information to the website, and I believe that is called token. While the MiHoYo game has encrypted the token, that's why they weren't issue about it. Hypergrip didn't encrypt it, and that allowed the third-party website got an access to your computer. So if I were to explain the situation, it's like buying a car that has the flaws on the lock system that allows thieves to exploit it. But you are also parking the car in an area that is known for car theft. You shouldn't even input the code that you don't know what is it about in the first place. So morally, it is Hypergriff's mistake and responsible for this, but legally not, cause pool tracker is such a prevalent tool out there. And Fob Master is also sponsored by the Endfield, cause I saw that he's in the speedrun competition event, so he can't really talk shit about the Hypergriff. That's what I assume. And I gotta say that Clown Tontas did make a pretty good covering about this issue, but I also got distracted and annoyed by side tracking, which is like 70-80% of his content, and straight up photoshopping other people's tweet on the thumbnail. This is exactly like why his content is problematic when he actually got good criticism and when he got an actual point. But it got buried by other bullshit that he puts out, like conflating issue and building a narrative that has nothing to do with the incident. People wouldn't trust this information as much as it deserves because of the messenger. If he were not to Photoshop the Fob Master word, sidetracking most of the time in the video, and actually focus on the issue, and this could have been a good video about the issue. And it doesn't just affect him alone, it also shifts the conversation from discussing about the game itself into the polarized fandom war. If you say any bad thing about the game, you don't belong to our side kinds of mentality. I don't think Arknight and Endfield community is there yet, but I could see it's getting there if the conversation become more inflammatory. I've recently listened to some CNSide's criticism. They talks about the issue that we don't really talk about, like the zipline doesn't really serve a lot of purpose other than just gathering the material and transporting the depot stuff. While they could have just set more teleport point to the material. It is a created problem that the sole purpose is to make the zipline important. I personally disagree with that because setting up the zip line is really fun. The fun is in the process, but it's also true that you don't really get a lot of reward after you setting up on the zip line. The amount of credit you get from the depot transportation isn't that much, in my opinion, once you're setting up the factory, and you don't even need that much material to level up in the first place. And of course, they talks about some good things about the game. It is an overall pretty balanced video, and I think this is the biggest damage that content creator like Saint Tontas have done, stopping us from having discussion like this, because these kind of genuine criticism will be buried by his dishonest criticism. The content creator gonna be more conserved and hesitant to talk about it because they don't want to be tagged as a drama farmer, and audience will tend to frame you as a hater because of the vibe that Saint Tontas has created. He kills the genuine criticism in the space, and having meaningful conversation with the community is never part of his goal. His goal is to push this cult mentality because that's how he built his audience. So you never want to expect a genuine good faith conversation, and we might be seeing him glazing the Neverness to Everness for the next few months because he probably got sponsored by it. Anyway, I think we haven't go hard enough on the Saint Tontas, so yeah, I will keep going harder if he keep pushing out these bullshit. Anyway, see ya guys.